What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 28 of the Tasty Cast, our bi-weekly podcast where we talk about what we've been playing and other random topics. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
I'm Chubby.
And I'm Chris.
And quick reminder, brand new month, so be sure to get Abzu and Tales from the Borderlands, both offer free on PlayStation Plus in May. We'll be playing them throughout the month. At the end of the month, we'll be talking about on Plus Club. Make sure to do the same. Come back, see what we had to say about them. Let us know what you thought of them. And then our game of the month is Dungeon Defenders 2, which I believe is on all platforms. I think it's free to play. And yeah, I've played a little bit already. I bought it when it was in early access. It's a fun tower defense, loot-based game. Definitely check it out. I'm excited for us to actually play it because I've been wanting to play it, but yeah, just haven't done it.
Are we playing it on PC? I want to play it on PS4.
I already have it on PC, so we'll see. If it's free to play on PS4, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to checking it out on there. But I don't know if I'd buy it again unless it was fairly priced. But we'll figure it out. Man, you're all sorts of fucking... We rolled for our game of the month, and we kind of fucked up, but it ended up being Minecraft. We ended up redoing it for certain reasons. And Josh was like, first off, just super opposed to it. He was just like, he's like, I'm not playing it on PC. I was like, well, I only own it on PC, and Chevy owns it on PC. He has it on Xbox One as well. But I was like, why? It's good we rolled because he wasn't really feeling it.
I don't even know where I wasn't download the shit anymore. Like, I don't know my fucking account. I don't know my fucking anything.
You can figure it out. It's not hard.
Okay, as if these aren't solvable problems.
No.
So yeah, we got a game that I feel like some of us haven't played, and some of us haven't played a whole lot. So it'll be fun to jump into that. And it's 4-player, so it's great. But yeah, with every Taste Cast, we always started off with what we've been playing. I'm going to start because I probably have the biggest list. Well, actually, no. I always do this. Let's talk about Vermintide, our game of the month of last month. We're doing it a little later than we normally do, but we're going to talk about it. So for those of you who didn't play it, End of Times Vermintide, Warhammer, End of Times Vermintide. There's a lot going on in that title. Is essentially Left 4 Dead with melee combat. There's guns in it too, but it's definitely mostly swinging. Yeah, 4 people go from one end to a level to the end or to the other end, and you get loot at the end of it. What'd you guys think of revisiting Vermintide?
Fucking brilliant. I still love it. Still really good, still really fun. I want to play it now with you guys, so I mean, we should do that more. But no, it holds up, man. Just that formula is just almost like a timeless kind of thing. It just holds up well.
Makes me really confused on why we don't have a Left 4 Dead 3 yet. I mean, they really rushed Left 4 Dead 2, and it was great. So I don't know, we don't have a third one, but who gives a fuck? 'Cause we have Vermintide, and it's awesome. I agree. Playing again, it's still really fun. I'm only like level 12 or 13 in that game, so still a lot of shit to do in that game. They just released the DLC with 3 new maps. I played a little bit of one. It was really cool. My only problem with it is since the newest update, there are freezing issues that I definitely am encountering almost every match. So that's a little... it's a little bit of a deterrent for me to want to play it because it's annoying in a game where the only way you get loot is beating the level, and then the game freezes halfway through the level. So that kind of sucks. Hopefully they fix that soon. But yeah, overall, it's really fun. My favorite part about that game is you have to communicate, like to play well together, and it's just a fun game to constantly be throwing information out there. While still having a really, really fun combat system.
This is more fun about cracking a Skaven right in his face with a fucking hammer.
Or stabbing a dude in the face with a rapier and then shooting a dude.
Or watching him walk around like fucking RoboCop. Because there was like 6 of them just kind of in a row, just scattered. And I was behind him just running with my fucking sword. And then he's just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and my
not missing
out.
one.
Yeah,
and then they're all just dying, and I was like, "Well, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, we run across that huge courtyard in the
first
level right after you blow open the door, and I had my pistols out because we just ran into some guy, and somebody had a assassin jump on him, and I shot him off. It's always easier than running up, and so I'm just running across the courtyard, and there's just rats everywhere. I'm just like. and there's one on a rooftop. I'm like, boom, boom. I'm like, I feel like this is a Western almost. It was gratifying.
Yeah, it looked like it was gratifying.
Yeah, it felt good. And then you said something. I'm like, that's right. He's like, you're RoboCop. I'm like, I'm better than RoboCop. And you shoot people in the dick over and over again.
Yeah, no, like you guys said, it was nice to come back to. It's still fun. It feels harder than I remember it being, though, which was kind of a surprise. There were things we ran into which I don't feel like we had the same kind of difficulty the first time we did it. Specifically, the boat mission.
The powder keg level?
The 8 powder kegs or whatever, where you have to get them on the boat. That level just kept fucking us over and over again. But other than that, yeah, no. I still need to, like, expand a little bit and try the other characters. I've still only played the archer in that game.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I have no idea what the other people feel like.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I've played every single one of them, and then there's always been something I just don't like about one of them, and then I do like the sorceress, just because she does gnarly AOE.
Yeah.
But I don't. But the in the middle of battle, the resource management kind of gets me. So I do like just using the soldier, just because fucking I like his range of weapons is fun for me, because he has big hammers, big swords, sword and shield, mace and shield. His guns are blunderbuss and fucking sniper rifle, pretty much, and so he just has a wide range of weapons that I enjoy.
Well, that's my thing too. Is like I like every class and played them all. I think they're really fun. The only thing is the what is he, a witch hunter?
Yeah.
Just his style is
Buscemi.
something that he says a lot. Yeah, he literally is Steve Buscemi. It's weird. If you look at his face, it's fucking creepy. He said it. I'm like, what? He sent me it. I'm like, whoo. How'd they get the rights? But yeah, his the way he plays is the most fun for me. So there's no characters that I don't like in the game. It's just that I really like the way he plays.
Oh, good God!
You never see underneath his fucking hat.
Show if they can see it.
Here, I got it.
He ain't fucking going that far. First off, you never see fucking underneath his hat, because he's always like looking down or some shit, and it's wide brimmed.
Yeah.
But
Ugh, that stench.
but he was standing on a table, and I looked up, and I was like, ugh.
That's why he's covered up, man. He knows he's fucking ugly.
Not even nearly as covered as fucking my character. You can only see like a third of her face.
Half the time I'm swinging at you because you're like down low and you're furry. I'm like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
I know,
I'm like,
there's
it's
been
not
so many
taking damage,
times I've
it's invincible.
shot at Chevy, and he's just like running around, and I'm just like, I need to fucking kill it now.
Oh yeah, I'll literally be swinging into like 20 of the guys, and then I'll turn around and there's Chevy. I'm like, and then he's just like this. He goes, I'm like, oh, that's Chevy.
Yeah, it's because we're like backed into the corner, and sometimes the Skaven will just spawn on top of you in that corner. And then I'll turn around and Chevy's fucking ducked, and I'm like, it's fucking one of them. And I'll go and murder it, but it ain't
I'm like,
happening.
who's this finely dressed rat? It's looking good.
This is actually my first time playing this game, and I was a little apprehensive about it because Left 4 Dead doesn't, I don't know, I don't do well in Left 4 Dead. But because this game has classes, I think I did better at it. And I mostly played the Fire Witch, although I played a couple rounds as the Stone Baby Man.
The
dwarf.
Stone Baby Man.
That's the class name.
And he's definitely like a tank class. He's got a shield, it's got like 5 stamina bars, so you can block a lot of damage with it. He also has a crossbow, which you can like zoom in with. But the Witch, I think, was my favorite. Your ranged attacks are fire spells, and you have a meter that the more you use the spells, the stronger, the longer you cast the spells, it fills up, and if it goes too far, you catch on fire and start taking damage. And she
It's
starts
always weird
screaming.
It's always weird when you turn at her and she's just like sitting there steaming, and you're just like, what happened?
That's the resource management part of it, is that you press L1, and you just pop your hand up and you steam, and you let off the heat, so you can like cast more.
See, now what I always did is I would pull out. I would mostly fight with her sword, because her sword has a jab, which is really good for those fucking Centurion rats, the storm vermin. Because for one, the sword that I use with the soldier, I like that sword because it swaths like all around. I can't hit fucking rats in the head though. So fucking I'm like, king, and he's like, and fucking goes whap and fucking jabs me.
He's
Like,
making eye contact.
like, you motherfucker.
I have the same problem with the sword and dagger.
Yeah.
Like the storm vermin or whatever, I can't kill them. So.
Yeah, like
I feel like they changed that though, because I remember them being a lot easier to kill, and now it seems like if I do a slash attack, it just bounces off.
Yeah.
But with the rapier, you can do a stab attack, and it always kills them.
Yeah,
my
and
power attack is just.
yeah, and the hammer is fucking. It's singular attack. It's just a fucking head smash, and then it swaths for fucking its power attack. So it's head smash just wham, and I'll just kill the shit out of those things. So it is obviously like, oh, you have to hit him in that fucking head. Because even times I just ran up and went boom with the blunderbuss and just and they're like, and then they like get up and they jab me again. I'm like, you motherfucker. They're hard to kill, man. They're bitches, and especially when going on. And I'm going to say something about the difficulty thing. I know I'm kind of going off topic now or off track, but Seth and I had it on fucking easy. And we had a hard time getting through the first fucking level. It seemed like there was assassins all over the fucking place.
But just like Left 4 Dead, though, it has an algorithm based off how well you're doing, and it changes the way the game puts out enemies. And we were rushing through it.
No, yeah.
Like
so
we
it
were
was
running
trying to-
through it, so it started just like
trying
throwing
to
out a
slow
bunch
us
of dudes.
down.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like Left 4 Dead was the same way. So it's all kind of the luck of the roll. It's best to kind of go at a steady pace than just run through. Because when you run through, it's
One
like
I also.
throwing the fucking Hulk rats at you.
Right. Well, and like because we were playing 4-player, obviously, it seemed like every time we started a match, like right off the bat, there's like 2 of them. Right off the bat, I was just like, "What's
Special
the fuck?"
units, yeah. And then in that same fucking map, when you're on the rooftops, you couldn't even go around them. But fucking, I fucking look across the little board thing you have to cross to get to the next rooftop. There's a fucking storm vermin platoon just marching on the rooftop. I'm like, fuck you doing there? And so like, I like ran up and went, wham, and I killed one, and then they all just got pissed. I'm like, Seth, do you have a bomb? And all of a sudden, the whole fucking place just lit up and killed them all.
Yeah, I was right behind you. Like I started swinging into him. Like this is not a good spot to be fighting. And then fucking, you're just like, don't you have a bomb? And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, boom, and fucking half of them flew off the side.
Yeah. But yeah, even on easy, it was giving us a fucking, not hard, but goddamn, it seemed like every time I turned around, there was somebody getting hit with an assassin or fucking dog catcher.
Well, when we played, I didn't have it on easy.
Well, no, that's yeah, we had it on
Normal.
normal, but
Those dog catchers are fucking bold though, because like half the time they're like, I'll like turn, they're like running at me with the fucking thing, and I'll take my sword, I'll go boom, and I'll stab them right in their face, and they still just grab me and pull me away. I'm like, you really want to capture me? I just stabbed you in the fucking face. You should be like, what the fuck, and like
For the
running.
greater good.
Yeah, and there's like,
greater good.
fuck it, man. I'm already here. Like, you already stabbed me. I'm doing something about this. So yeah, you're the only one here who just played this for the first time though. So overall, you dug it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely dug it. The dwarf was kind of boring. He's very like plain, like simple character. There's not
He's
much
probably
to
the
him.
most boring in my opinion.
yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of shit unlocked for him, so I don't really know. I know he has like a Mjolnir, just standard hammer, but like, I really hate those just because like the blocking is garbage and the fucking damage is kind of garbage. The only thing it really does is hit fast. But the fucking elf chick does that 100% better. So
One of the weapons I unlocked for him is like his standard starts with is either two-handed axe or a sword, or an axe and shield. And then one of the weapons I unlocked for him is just a single one-handed axe. I'm like, the fuck is that gonna do for me?
That's the thing that's weird about his character is like, and I like playing him, but like the reason I don't is because like everything he does, somebody else does better. And he's not like a good like well-rounded character because I feel like the witch hunter is. The witch hunter can take damage pretty decently. He has 3 shields when he blocks, so he's got decent stamina. And the big thing about him is the damage output. With the pistols, I mean, I'm typically getting the most kills just because I can unload into crowds. But with him, like, you know, the character you play is more of the big like tanky type dude, and the dwarf can swing fast, but so can the ranger. So it's really weird. It's almost like he's the other well-rounded character, but his strengths aren't really there.
Well, and it's funny too because like even with the ranger, like I use the slower bow, but it's better for taking out special units just because it has the homing shot. So, but you get less ammo. You can also use a short bow with her though, which you can literally just as fast as you can pull the trigger, start throwing arrows out. So you can clear crowds with that. It just depends on what you want to focus on.
Have you got any bows that have like any kind of like magical properties to them? Outside of the homing shit? Homing?
No, in fact, for some reason that game wants to give me everything but a bow. So.
Because me and him were playing the other day, and we were noticing these weird like almost teal colored clouds everywhere popping up, and like I just saw it and I was like, oh, what? Fucking something's going on. And Josh is like, what is that? And I'm like, what? I was like, oh, the clouds? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even think about it. And eventually we found out the person playing with us who's playing the elf, their bow was like glowing that color, and there was like leaving these clouds everywhere it shot. I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like
I
an
want
AoE.
magical fucking weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, it must have been, and even the dwarf had like a gold fucking hammer that just wrecked. So I don't know what the fuck, those guys, I don't know what the hell they're doing on pussy level, but like.
Grinding for loot.
I guess
Materials even, because like you go to the forge and break down that shit. So.
Well, and you can just go through the first level over and over and over and over again on easy, get gear, and then break it down for newer gear.
Yeah.
Or, sacrifice or what the fuck it's called.
I mean, I got a sword on the witch that has a 10 to 15% chance to slay instantly on hit.
That's actually really good.
Yeah,
so, the sword that I always use with the soldier, his pushback attacks are extra strong. So fucking, instead of just like pushing them away from you just so you can kind of get a shot, it goes wham, and fucking they're like, ugh, and they fall on their ass and shit.
It normally makes them, they fall down like fucking, like a damsel in distress, man. Because fucking, I had a sword that did that. Every time I shoved them, they'd always like fly back and then fall down, like on their chest and look back at you. I'm just like,
how could you?
Exactly, like,
Yeah, it for a standard weapon, it shoves like a shield, which is nice. And sorry, and
I think I run like a tight ship here.
yeah,
I just have to go after him.
it shoves. Yeah, it shoves like a shield, which is nice. And the thing about shoving is it actually causes aggro. So
Yeah, it's a
like
taunt.
it's you shove one and they're like, this motherfucker, you shove me.
Fucking shove me, fucker. This guy's pushing. This ain't a mosh pit. We're trying to kill you. It's that come at me, bro mentality.
No shit.
Yeah. Overall, sounds like we all enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
This is actually, it's funny because typically after we do the game of the month or the plus games, I'll like uninstall them as soon as fucking we're done. Not that I hate them. I just need that I need that disk space. But yeah, this one I almost did that with. I was like, I'm not even done playing this. I actually really enjoyed playing it, and you just picked it up. So we need to play it some more.
Yeah.
Any last things on Vermintide?
Give us more characters.
It's just
I would
dope.
love new characters. They've been supporting. They added 3 new maps.
It's actually funny because when the game first came out, it ended up doing way better than they had anticipated, and they gave away a bunch of free DLC as a thank you for that. So that kind of also shows not only that the game was received well enough that a bunch of people bought it, but the developers do care too. So.
Well, yeah, because they definitely made this game assuming that Warhammer fans are probably going to like it.
Yeah.
And I think more people bought it than Warhammer fans because, like, I don't give a fuck
Shit
about
ton of
Warhammer.
people played it, yeah.
But I remember when this game came out, literally when it came out, fucking, because I had no idea it was coming out. Josh was like, I think it was Josh. He was like, oh, have you heard about this Vermintide game coming out in like 3 days? He's like, it looks kind of like Left 4 Dead. And I like looked it up. As soon as I watched the video, I'm like, I'm buying that. Like I don't give a fuck what the storyline is. That
Right.
just looks like fun. And it is.
By the way, are you equipping your trinkets? Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's played a game before.
Well, no, I just want to make
Obscure ones, but
make
he
sure
played- he's
because
played 'em.
you equip those trinkets, it gives you more drops for your character.
Yeah.
Even though every loot fucking bit I got last night, or in the night before, I ain't got shit for my guy.
I do wish the witch lady wasn't so ugly though.
All the characters are
They're
ugly.
all ugly.
I don't get it. Like, is the Warhammer world just that fucked?
No,
She's
it's
on
not.
Fire, all the time. Fucking, she's supposed to look like a leather glove.
What's fucking Witch Hunter's excuse? He looks
That
like a
guy-
burn victim too.
That guy's been hexed so many fucking times. It's just insane.
Just
I mean, if I'm a
curses and
witch and I
curses.
use fire and you're a witch hunter, you probably got burned multiple times.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe there's a storyline to that. He needs to stop talking though. I mean, maybe because he got burned, he's just bitching all the time now.
I do like how the witch will like make like snarky remarks at your character every now and then though. Like if you go down, she's like, "What? You need coin to stay up?"
Yeah,
The fucking dialogue in that game, there's shitloads.
There's a
of it.
shitload.
So
Yeah.
they talk to each other constantly.
yeah, it's really
Good
neat.
shit.
I can never tell when mine's talking though. So
Even in the I played one of the new maps, and there's all new dialogue.
oh wait, I do remember one thing. I remember
I don't even know what your character sounds like, to be honest.
someone had killed one of the special units, something like that, and my character was like, I'd have done it faster.
Yeah, that's why I don't hear it.
Damn.
You just filter out that fucking attitude.
All I hear is my guy.
all I hear,
That's all I hear,
is
too.
your
Your
guy,
character
too.
will be like, "No, what a dummy." He's like, "Ugh, I'm so uncomfortable.
He is constantly shouting.
Balls are good. Ugh, I would have killed him, but I'm tired.
They're persecuting me.
No one ever listens to me." There's a reason, motherfucker. With that, I'm going to jump into what I've been playing now. I got more than a couple games on my list. I'm going to fly through most of them. If you guys have anything to say about them, chime in. Titanfall 2, I revisited that recently. Game's still fucking awesome. They just released new stuff. Apparently they're working on a new Titan. They just added new maps, new weapon, a bunch of stuff. If you were playing it before and you want a reason to come back, there's new shit. If you haven't played this game, you're even slightly interested, fucking buy it. They deserve it.
It's
The
on
game's
sale all
awesome.
the time.
It's on sale all the time. It's such a good game. Even if you just want like a single player campaign, it's really good. I can't suggest Titanfall 2
It's
enough.
actually on. I don't know if it'll still be on sale when this airs, but
Yeah, let's say Vermintide, same story. So
yeah.
it probably won't be.
Yeah. But it's on sale all the time, so definitely pick it up. Another game that I've been playing is Yooka-Laylee, which is the original guys from Rare made a company called Playtonic. Yooka-Laylee is literally Banjo-Kazooie, so if you enjoyed those back in the day, which you should have because everybody did, it's literally that with some more modern ideas and modern humor. I'm actually really liking it a lot. I haven't gotten to play a platform like this since the 64 era, so this is really cool. Apparently, people are complaining that it's too much like those games. I'm like, you know how long it's been, man? It's been like 20 years since we got a game like that, and it looks great, plays great. I love the humor.
Rockstar Table Tennis is Pong.
It is. It is Pong. And that game did well.
There's a point there. I don't understand what people are bitching about.
Let us know in the comments what the point is. Another game I'm playing I've been playing the shit out of last 2 days is Neo. Got a random hankering to play this game, and I haven't been able to stop playing it. It's fucking awesome. I just recently went from the 3rd island to the 4th island. If you're playing the game and know what the fuck I'm talking about. And the game gets a lot harder around the 4th island. So if you're not there yet, look forward to that. But yeah, it's awesome. Loving it. I don't know if anybody else played Neo recently.
Not recently.
Lego Worlds, which a couple of us have played. I actually, for people who don't know, Lego Worlds is Minecraft meets the Lego games meets No Man's Sky. You generate random worlds, you visit them, you can do whatever the fuck you want on them, you can build anything you want, you can literally do whatever the hell you want. There's also little objectives, and the way you progress through the game is finding golden blocks. The more golden blocks you get, the more things you have access to create bigger and greater worlds. I like it. I think it's fun. The more I play it, though, the more I realize it's such an open sandbox that, like, there's nothing that drives me in it anymore. But I played the fuck out of it. So I probably kind of ruined that for myself because I got like 70 fucking gold blocks in the first playthrough. So, but me and Josh played a little bit, and me and you played a little bit. And I think it's a really cool game. I think it has a lot of cool ideas. The one thing I wish they would just make 2 modes for is I don't like that the world building tools are available from the beginning, because there's ways to go through the world in a more natural way, like jackhammers, fucking pickaxes, stuff like that. But then you can just pull out the delete tool and delete the terrain. So I mean, like, it just kind of takes away from the idea of exploration for me because I'm just fucking, and I don't have to do it, but I'm impatient and I know I can use that tool, so I do.
Well, that's in the same vein. Like, I remember when Oblivion was coming out and they introduced the fast travel system, and I was highly opposed to it. So I thought it was super lazy because the days of Morrowind, you had to go to like a hub to be able to travel to
You're
other
opposed
cities.
to it then?
Opposed to fast traveling, yeah.
Oh, I grew to be opposed to it because at first I'm like, this is amazing.
No, I didn't like it, and then but then the convenience hit once. You know, I was like, oh, I can just travel there. I was like, well, fuck this. And so in the same vein, I do understand that because there's just an easier route. I mean, why not take that instead of fucking like, I'm gonna do this the legit way.
It was just like assholes who grab rocket launchers and FPSs and just kill like 5 dudes in one shot. It's easier.
And then be like,
Me.
But the game allows you to do it. So, I mean, like,
yeah,
I just get to question your morality. That's it.
yeah, but that's the thing is like in the same vein is, I mean, now fast travel is such a fucking part of literally any game ever now, and the worlds are so fucking huge it's almost needed. But yeah, so I mean, I still am kind of opposed to fast travel, but again, it's there. I'm gonna fucking use it.
Yeah. What'd you think of Lego Worlds when that came talking?
I enjoy it. It's a nice little casual game if you want to.
It's only $30.
Come home after work, you don't really want to like think too much. Like you can literally just kind of, like you said, do whatever you want. I played a little bit last night as of recording, and I only did maybe like 5 gold blocks, but before I shut it off, but it was relaxing. So
That's my thing is when I play it, I'm just like chilling. Like I'm not like if I'm like I don't know what to play, blah blah blah, or if I'm like listening to like a podcast or something, I just do that. And I do like there's so much shit in that game that every world you go to, you're gonna see new stuff, and that's kind of cool. I wish there was something that made me feel more inclined to want to build. It's weird.
yeah, I don't ever build anything actually.
Yeah, because the tools are there. You can literally build anything.
Yeah, just
Using
discover.
literally any brick.
That might be something you're more inclined to do though once you get the 100 gold blocks and you can create your own worlds.
Yeah, because none of the worlds feel permanent to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm using this planet and then I'm going to the next one, just
Yep.
like real life.
Yeah, and then
Fucking-
the end
Getting
game
political.
after you get those gold blocks is being able to just create. So you might be more inclined to do it at that point because then there'll be an actual like mode for it.
Another thing too that like I said, I like the game, but like me and Josh are playing, and when he joined me, he had access to all my shit, and he was pretty much just assisting me in my gameplay, which is fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he goes to play on his own now, he didn't get any progress from that. And if I play with him, none of my progress carries over, so I'm just assisting him. And I get that, and I kind of like it, but for like a split screen gameplay, that would make sense for me more. But like the online thing, I wish there was a way to
Separate your inventories.
get something from it, yeah. Because I was struggling with like what are we doing to progress. He's more so just kind of hanging out with me while I progress.
Yeah, I was just exploring his bullshit that he's discovered, like
Thanks, dude.
flying around and stuff. And
All my
by the way, all the fucking flying stuff in that game, I hate how they control.
I'm used to it now. At first, I was like, "This is kind of weird." It's weird. The eagle is like the only thing that flies normal.
Yeah.
You get on that thing and it runs like a velociraptor, and you start flying. You double tap X, and it actually like feels more natural than like in the game. All the stuff that flies literally up goes up, down goes down, X is forward, circle is back, and it's fucking weird feeling.
Yeah.
But it's a Lego game, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, all of you, it pretty much plays any other Lego game, so
I
can't be too mad.
I also played the Prey demo. You're just like, I don't know. Played the Prey demo. This is for for those of you who don't know, Prey came out a long time ago. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but there's some things about it that are kind of cool. Then they're going to make Prey 2. That got scrapped. Then they were going to make another Prey game that looked actually really cool. They scrapped that shit. And now they're making this. And I was kind of excited for it because there's all these like interesting things you can do, like turn into a fucking cup for some reason, and or any object.
Drink me!
And yeah, have people drink you if that's what you're into. And yeah, it just looked interesting. And then I played the demo.
You're one of the fucking Wonder Twins.
Pretty much. and this game should have been called that because I don't get why they're using the brand. Prey doesn't have a strong following. It's not going to sell the game. I mean, fucking after playing this, it might actually sell it because that name's bigger than the gameplay. But yeah, I was disappointed. As soon as I started the game, I was like, oh shit. You hold the controller and you go to look to the left, and as soon as you hit left, you're like, it's so fucking floaty feeling. I was like, that feels like shit. Walking feels floaty and slow. I'm looking around the room, and you can literally pick up every item and throw it. You can drink alcohol and get fucking buzzed and do all this random shit. And I'm like, what is this game? This isn't, like, I don't get why this is a Prey game. The first Prey was, like, just the FPS with aliens, and this is, like, so different. I can't believe it's not its own game. The big thing about it, though, is the game is trying to be BioShock, Half-Life, and very much the new Deus Ex games, and it fails at all three of them. The shooting feels like shit. I'm not going to do what I did last week, where I just fucking went off on the game I won't mention, but drawn to death. But it doesn't feel like a good game. It feels lazy. I mean, like, there's like barely any character models anywhere. You get into a ship, and it's just like this empty-looking city you're flying over while some guy talks to you over an intercom or wherever the hell. There's nothing compelling about it. All the moves that you can unlock aren't that great. The world doesn't look that cool. I don't know. It feels lazy. Like, I was hoping that after the amount of times that they scrapped this game, whatever compelled them to actually make a new one, I was hoping it'd be fucking more than this. This literally feels like a game this game's going to be released and it's going to be forgotten. I don't know if anyone's going to really like this game. I am so skeptical of that. I was actually going to buy this fucking game, just watching the trailers, and then I played the demo, and I'm glad I did, because I'm not going to buy this game. It wasn't fun for me at all.
So what if the story ends up being just amazing, though?
The story is really interesting, actually, though. That's the best part about it. It's really interesting, because it's almost like Groundhog's Day.
Well, because, like, BioShock, like, the worst part about it is the gameplay.
And I don't play BioShock.
I like BioShock.
But, well, the story's really good.
I respect BioShock, because I think it's one of the more original ideas out there, and the world they created is fucking insane. It's like when people say, you can't make a good video game movie. I'm like, dude, BioShock would make a fucking fantastic movie. Yeah. Because it's the world is there. Mm-hmm. As long as you treat it with respect, it'd be great. But the gameplay, I'm not a huge fan because it's so simple. I mean, Infinite was an amazing, amazing looking game and had a great storyline. But the gameplay was boring for me because it's just like you go into an arena, you start shooting people, and then you go to the next arena, you start shooting people, it flows in, you shoot more people, you go to the next arena, and then you have this great storyline.
My biggest problem with every single BioShock game is I literally find a combo, and then I literally don't use anything.
There's like 2 weapons I used in Infinite, and I just didn't use anything else. There's no point.
Shotgun and the fucking shock. And to be honest, in BioShock 1, guess what? Shotgun and shock. And then in BioShock 2, it was shotgun and drill arm. So, I mean, there could be other weapons in that game, but I don't know about them.
I don't know about them. But yeah, I would suggest anyone who's even slightly interested in Prey, definitely check out the demo first so you know what you're getting into. It's not even remotely close to what I thought it was going to be. And after Deus Ex Mankind Divided being like my game of the year that year it came out, this game doesn't stack up to it. So I'm just like, I'm not playing a second-rate Deus Ex. So wasn't too into that. And then last thing that I played was I bought a Dreamcast, which is one of my favorite consoles of all time. So that's really fucking awesome. In fact, Josh bought me a Dreamcast, which is really cool of him. But the asshole who sold it to him didn't check if it worked. So I ended up getting a separate one, and I got Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, and Soul Calibur. And just real quick, the Dreamcast is still so fucking cool. I love the way it looks. The VMU is so fucking cool. I have such nostalgia of this console, and the controller is awesome feeling. Obviously, it feels a little old school to me now, considering the standard. But it still feels cool. Power Stone. I actually didn't play a whole lot of it when it came out back in the day. Played a little bit. I liked it, but I played it, and it's a really fun game. I wish they would have made more of them. It's a really cool idea. It feels like a platformer and a fighter. Soul Calibur still fucking holds up. It feels like a more basic version of the newer ones, but I could still beat people's ass in that. It's really fun. And Sonic Adventure is just it's a requiem of the the death of Sega and Sonic, because just playing it, I'm like, why couldn't you do this anymore? This game just really takes all the essence of Sonic and puts it in a 3D world, and it works so well. And then they've just fucked Sonic over and over and over and over again for so long that I don't even know what the hell Sonic is anymore. There's more bad games than are good games at this point, so it's depressing. But yeah, revisiting the Dreamcast and starting collecting the games again has been fucking awesome, and I plan on keep doing that because I love the thing. And that's all I've been playing.
I tried the Dragon Quest Warriors 2 demo.
I downloaded it, I haven't played it yet.
I actually really enjoyed it. It was kind of cool. You run around with a party.
The Dynasty Warriors one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you run around with a party of
I think it's 4.
4 people, and you can switch in between them whenever you want. They each have their own set of moves that you can do, like power moves, almost like the game. Like the first guy uses 2 swords, and he has like a fucking Omni Slash and like an ice tornado thing. And then there's a chick who uses sword and shield. He uses fire. Huge dude who punches, and he uses earth and shit like that. And then there's a chick who throws a boomerang. But anyway, I didn't use her at all. But yeah, it was pretty fun. It's iconic as fuck. There's slimes. Slimes are kind of the only thing I know.
I want the case to say
Golems.
that. I wanted to say it's iconic as fuck.
It's iconic as fuck.
Josh.
The one thing because I haven't played it myself yet, but the one thing I read that said that it plays a lot more like Dragon Quest than Dynasty Warriors compared to the first title. So,
Yeah, and I could definitely tell that it was very. It did not feel like a Dynasty Warriors at all. But I did, yeah. Other than you run around in a big open field and there's a bunch of fucking things to kill. But there's like little mini missions. You get quests. You can go out, do those quests. You come back. Boss battles are actually like you kind of put in its own arena to fight these bosses. One, they have a fuckload of life. That took days to kill the boss. It was this pig thing with a fucking club. But he was surrounded by, it seemed like 60 or 70 mobs. So like you're sitting there mowing all those down, trying to avoid his bullshit, while and your whole party fights too. Like you're not just switching and then they're just taking your place. It's like your whole party's behind you and they're fighting all this bullshit too. So it got pretty hectic. Though I will say it's pretty easy. I didn't have an issue at all getting. It is the first level, but I didn't have an issue at all getting anywhere through it.
Once the demos are meant to give you
Yeah.
a taste of the game, anyways. So.
Yeah, and it was pretty good taste. I really liked it. Yeah, it was fun. I might actually buy it, to be honest. I think it's out now.
Yeah, I wanted to buy the first one. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence because it didn't have a demo, and then I played a demo of this, and it's rocking. And
Rockin'.
and then playing Nier, shitloads of Nier. Just beat my second playthrough of that.
Beat the second playthrough?
Yeah, I did that.
Let's not talk too much
Thursday.
detail about that.
I don't want to hear shit about
Yeah,
that. Are you liking it?
Yes.
Let's keep it at that.
It's nice. Most new game pluses, I don't fucking play because it's just literally the same fucking game.
Oh, I love it.
This game is completely different the second time around.
Unfortunately, I've read a little bit, and
Yeah.
you have another nice surprise ahead of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, the story just adds on and on and on. It keeps unlocking more lore and more bits about the world. The second playthrough through. So yeah, it's fucking amazing. Like they did a awesome job with that fucking game.
Yeah, so far that and Horizon are like competing for me on Game of the Year.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying the hell out of that game. I'm probably gonna play it another couple more times. Just to kind of get the full, because you're supposed to beat it more than once, obviously. So, yeah, I'm going to play that a little bit more. Borderlands 2 with my girlfriend, because she loves that game, so I humor her, even though I fucking hate the first 2 or 3 hours of it.
Oh, yeah, it's the worst. That's the reason I won't play it.
Yeah, we just got to the part where Sanctuary flew away. So fuck, thank God, because that's when the game actually
Spoiler
starts
alert.
That's when the game starts to open up a
Fuck,
little
at
bit
this
more.
point.
And spoiler alert, you kill Handsome Jack. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that. Is there anything else I've been fucking? Oh, Dark Souls 3
Yeah,
because the Ring City, the last DLC has showed up. That game is like putting on a nice jacket. It just doesn't get old, man.
Nice jacket
And,
tries to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And no, well, like, and I was telling you, Seth, it was like I have a problem with one of the bosses. It's the Twin Princes, and like I couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat him. I was like, fuck. And so I was actually kind of stuck in the last DLC boss, the first DLC, the last boss of that, and the Twin Princess. So I was like kind of fucking stuck in a weird, like, I can't beat any of these fucking people. Well, last night I died once to the Twin Princes, and then I went in, I wrecked them, and then I got to the last boss of the whole game, and I wrecked him on my first try, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, things were just working, I guess. But yeah, because you have to have access to the last boss to get into the Ring City. Mm-hmm. So I started playing that. The DLC's hard as fuck. There's a lot of like new creatures that have attack patterns that are completely kind of, there's a huge guy that swings a big sword, and you're like, all right, he does, but his attacking is off. Like he'll hold his sword up a little bit longer than fucking what you're used to, and then slam it down. So I've already rolled, and then I get up when I get fucking hit, and and there's these little cocooned human things that summon angels that literally are huge fucking angels that sit over a fucking area, and they'll just start to pelt you with lasers, like holy lasers. So you have to find that summoner and kill it so the fucking angel will go away. And they're annoying. God, I got killed by that thing like fucking 15 times yesterday. I've been murdered a lot. Like I've been murdered by that DLC. I've been murdered by that DLC more times in the first. I've only played it for like a couple hours than in all the last DLC.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's pretty fucking intense. And I haven't even gotten to the Ring City. I'm still like on top of it. So yeah, I'm excited to keep playing it, see where it goes, and to complete another run of the game. And then I got another run with another character, another build that I'm going to go through also. So.
Well, you're getting your money out of that game.
Yeah, best game ever made.
2 years from now, we're going to be doing our Game of the Year, and he's going to be like, Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3, the re-release, remaster edition for the Xbox, for the Scorpio.
Best fucking game that year is the best game this year still.
Yeah. Witcher 3. But other than that, I haven't really been playing jack shit. Just been kind of focused and trying to beat games so I can kind of open up my plate.
That's what I'm doing.
So I'm trying to find time to jump into Final Fantasy 14 for a little bit to see if it's something I want to keep doing. And then, because I was telling Chevy I kind of need a palate cleanser. I've been playing a lot of I just want to play something just completely different than what I've been playing a lot of.
You've been kind of wanting to play Overwatch lately. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I'll join you on that journey.
We'll see if I do play it.
You won't.
But I do want to play it. All right, what are you guys playing?
So I've also been playing Nier. I don't want to talk about the game so much, but I do want to talk about systems and music a little bit.
I love the soundtrack in that
The
game.
music is absolutely fucking amazing. I every zone I go to, every encounter I get into, the soundtrack is just constantly good. I especially like as you're getting deeper into something, the layers that just keep getting added onto it, and the volume slowly increasing on it. Like they just, I don't know, whoever the composer is, fucking awesome.
And we looked him up because I was like, it reminds me so much of like the same way the original Ghost in the Shell soundtrack is. And you definitely tell it's an influence because it sounds like it takes a lot from that. But yeah, it's really fucking good. And like you were saying with the layering and also like the volume control and stuff, like having certain parts rise to certain parts really adds to situations. Half the time I'm like completely like in awe in certain situations because of the visuals and what's going on, but also because the music fits the scene so well.
Well, I know both of you have gotten to this point, but to be vague for our viewers, the first the boss fight you do where you get introduced to hacking.
The amusement park.
That one was really
Dude,
fucking cool.
The music plus just like how like almost kind of like stressful that fight is and stuff. I was super impressed by that.
And the visuals of all the shit coming at you, like 2
I was just gonna say just the amusement park in general was a
it's
fucking
really
experience.
cool, yeah.
Because that whole time, and it's not really a spoiler, but that whole time, like you like walk in, and the whole time you're supposed to be killing machines, and that's what they drill in your fucking head the whole time. And this is the first time you walk in somewhere, and the machines aren't trying to kill you.
Yeah.
They're actually just doing their thing. There's fucking dudes shooting balloons in the air, and if you attack them, then he will attack you. But yeah, that's like the first time you actually kind of like. And then the music is fucking intense. But this is one of the first games I've seen in a long time where every fucking track has vocals in it.
Yep.
And
Which is
they're
really interesting.
done really well. I've had the amusement park song in my head fucking months. It seems like I'll just be sitting there. I'm like do 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 do, and I'm like damn it, because it won't stop. Same with the overworld music. It really kind of gives like a sense of like how I don't know, barren kind of the place is. It's just kind of like their slow piano and stuff like that.
Their quote overworld music that they use is super like perfect for not just the scenery, but the fact that it is kind of like, you know, traveling music, you know, for the area you're in. And even when you do get into a fight, volume bumps up and they add more layers to that same song still. So, and that just happens so much in the game. So it's super impressive. I don't think I've ever seen a game take one song and make so many different versions of it. I don't know. It's crazy. So.
Yeah, and it's just that's a fucking amazing game. Like it's really really fucking good.
The mechanic thing I wanted to bring up is, this shouldn't be a surprise, but I haven't played too many of their games. But Platinum Games really knows how to make like action feel not just like fun, but like the weapons feel impactful. The style is super fucking cool, but doesn't seem like too fucking crazy either. And depending on your combo weapons, your movesets change up. Even just switching between the two weapons mid-combat, doing a couple, you know, swings with, you know, my katana, then switching over to the greatsword, or even just like not having one and using the hand-to-hand, so you'll be swinging, all of a sudden you'll kick out with your foot instead. Everything just flows so well in the combat. And I was talking to you about this at work, about, you know, you'll hit the dodge button, and as soon as that happens, you attack, you'll knock them up in the air, you'll start hitting them, and, you know, people will start gathering behind you. You can hit your heavy attack, you hit the ground real hard, And with the katana, she's like balancing on it and then just kind of slowly rolls her feet to land on the ground super gracefully. It's just, I don't know, it's really neat.
No, I'm constantly noticing in like the animations and just how she moves in combat, just how much work they put into the style of it.
Yeah.
You can make a character that stands there and swings or whatever. You're still going to get the same gameplay experience, but just having that visual style to it, you feel like you're a badass. You're playing a character who is good at combat, and it just has a really good visual flair to it. And I do love finding different combos between two different weapons and seeing the different things they do based off the combinations of those.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat they do that. I had no idea. I was like playing it for a while, and then like I got a new weapon and put it with my other weapon. And all of a sudden they were attacking differently. I was like, fuck, this is a thing?
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah, I just got a spear, so I'm excited to see how that plays with the katana. So, besides Nier, I should have brought up, I beat Horizon Zero Dawn finally. So,
Which we need to do a group review ASAP.
yeah.
A while ago.
I am not done with this game though. I definitely want to go back and like finish up some stuff. It's a super enjoyable game. Without talking too much, because we do want to do a review. I do have some nitpicks, especially towards the end of the game. But for the most part, it was a great experience. So
Yeah.
let's see what else I played. Still playing Final Fantasy 14. I have nothing to really talk about that I've done in that game. I do just want to emphasize how excited I am though, because they showed off the benchmark tool for the expansion. And in that, they showed a shit ton of the new features that they got to show off. So I got to see Samurai Red Mage, I got to see the swimming, the new mount, some of the new mounts, some of the new moves, even for pre-existing classes.
You said the swimming for some reason, like my brain just thought that was a class. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's funny because some of the underwater stuff, like for gatherers, you'll have to go underwater for some of your gathering. So like fishing, you'll have to get an offhand, a spear. So when you're underwater, you actually have to stab fish.
That's kind of cool. That kind of brings like a more of an action kind of a.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It looked very actiony, but the game, I doubt it'll play that way. Like I showed a miner trying to get inside of a clamshell, for example. I don't know. It looks really neat. I got really excited, especially after seeing the samurai walking around in a Japanese city with a bunch of people in kimonos and stuff. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. Lego Worlds, we talked about already. Played a little bit of that, and I downloaded Triple Triad on my phone, which is the card game from Final Fantasy. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I'm playing.
Is it good?
Is it good?
Yeah.
If you like Triple Triad, it's good.
I don't. I haven't even played it. I don't like card games.
Chris?
I unfortunately have not had a lot of time to play games, but what I have been playing is Overwatch, because they had the event right now where it's like the Omnics attacking.
Uprising event.
Yeah, Uprising. And I've got a couple skins out of that, which are pretty neat. I've got the Genji skin, the Blackwatch Genji, and I got the Torbjorn skin and a couple other ones. No big deal.
The beardless or not beardless?
The not beardless one.
Really?
Yeah. The other one's ugly as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's
There's a reason that little stone baby has a fucking has a beard.
Yeah, he needs it. And then I've been playing Diablo because I got into the Necromancer beta. So I've been playing that and testing that out, and it's really fun. You can't play adventure, or you can't play story mode in it. You can only play bounty mode. But there's a couple. I've already noticed that there's like each area has like 2 or 3 new spots you can go to that have different content. Because there's different maps, different tile sets, different enemies that appear in there that I've never seen before. So it's interesting.
And you would know too. You play that game.
Almost as much as you play Dark Souls and Terraria.
I haven't played Terraria in months.
You will.
There's a couple new weapons.
There's
Specific.
actually an update coming out soon. So
Oh, I'm sure
I'll
there
be
is.
diving back into that.
There's some new weapons in Diablo since there's a new class coming out. So there's scythes now. There's 2-handed scythes, and then there's one-handed, so like little sickles.
Dope.
And there's new offhands. I can never remember the name of the word for it, but it's what a Lich would use to store his organs in. Starts with a P, but it makes a hard F sound.
Like a file?
Yeah, like a phylocanth or whatever they call it. There's a couple of those. You don't even hold them like they're like floating. You can just hold your hand up. They float underneath it. The first one I got was a goddamn heart, a black heart. It was just sitting there beating, and I'm just holding it like. Meh.
That's horrifying.
But there seems to be 3 builds out right now. There's the pet build, which there's a lot of fucking pets you can get as a necromancer.
Really?
This raised skeleton is different from old Diablo 2. You don't have to have corpses for it. It randomly just spawns a skeleton periodically, and you can have a maximum of 7 of those. And then you can summon skeletal mages as your mana spend or your energy spender. There's different runes to make them like different types of mages. One of them makes them archers. You can summon golems, and there's like 5 different types of golems you can summon. I mean, there's just a shit ton of them. There's also the bone build, so like bone spear, which is where teeth was put into. It's a rune now for bone spear. There's a big build around that because one of your energy generators is like this bone spike that comes out of the ground, and you can make it like a straight line, so it just cleaves through enemies endlessly. And bone spear naturally penetrates all enemies. It hits there, so it just goes through everything. And then the third one, which wants to be the one that everybody seems to be running the most, is called the blood build. And it uses a lot of your health and energy fast, but you also regenerate it quickly with it, but you do a shit ton of damage. It's very like high risk, high reward type build.
And you were saying that you felt the Necromancer's OP?
Very OP. I was using the bone spear as my mana spender or energy spender, and with the like plagued marrow, I believe is the rune for it. And the more enemies it passes through, the more damage it does. Consequently, like just stacking. And so I would kill one way in the back of this group of enemies, and then corpse explosion costs no energy to cast, and it's on an instant cooldown. And I had a rune that made the radius like huge, and so I would just cast it, and I would just keep tapping the button, and just enemies would just be blowing up and dying, and I would just have endless amounts of corpses.
Fuck that.
Yeah. I changed my build though. I changed it to more of like a kind of like a melee-ish build for my character. So I have a curse, 2 curses up. I have curse and consume corpse, and I have them set so one of the runes makes them auras. So if enemies get too close to me, they get what's called an enfeeble curse. So if they drop to like, if their health bar is this big and they drop to like this much health and you hit them, they die instantly. They lose all their health, 1 hit. And then the consume corpses I have, or when I walk by the corpses that enemies leave behind, specific to the necromancer, I consume them and get my energy refilled for it. So I'm just walking around, consuming corpses, cursing people, and doing my AoE, basically like Arcane Nova is what it is. It's basically what it is for necromancers, though. But it's just ridiculous because every time I hit with it, I get health back.
The class sounds cool. I don't know if I'll try until it's actually like released.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to play it if it's OP and then like play it later and almost feel like they took things away from it.
Right.
It sounds like they're still kind of balancing it out, which is the point of the beta. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I have this talent that if I don't have any pets out, I get 100% armor.
Damn.
I'm tanky as hell.
Yeah,
I just
that's
walk in
crazy.
and just Nova everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't think of a necromancer as being a tank.
It's doable.
It's kind of cool though, like having different ways to play. But yeah, it sounds OP.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird talents. Every, 5% health you lose, you gain 1% cooldown reduction on all your skills.
Damn.
I have a nuke button too. It's called Army of the Dead. And you just literally hear a bell. It goes bang, like when you're fighting Leoric. And just a swarm of like hundreds of skeletons just go and just decimate everything. And I've got it ruined so that if they're within the circle, they get dragged to the middle while the enemies or the skeletons are going. So I'm like, fuck this group. I just go and they're dead. It's a 120-second cooldown, but
I don't want to see that.
it's fucking
Sounds
disgusting.
kind of cool. Anything else?
No.
No.
Homework.
That whole game.
Yep.
Man, Blizzard.
Yeah.
Always Blizzard.
Yeah.
No Warframe.
I log in, do little things here and there, dabble with some of the new stuff, and I'm out because I don't have a lot of time.
I not that I want to get too far into it, but I did check out Octavia. Is that the chick's name? The new Warframe and Warframe. If you play Warframe and like to control Warframes, well, this Warframe has music moves, and I'm not going to get into that, but it's kind of neat because it has a like a sequencer that you can make music with, and that actually ties into your moves, which is kind of neat. As a person who produces music, it's neat to see something that is very basic and simple, but offers more than I would have thought. It's kind of cool, so definitely go check that out.
You can share your music too in the hubs.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool social thing to add to Warframe. Warframe needs more social aspects. So, yeah. So with that, we're gonna get into our topic, which is Josh actually brought this up at work the other day. What are some things that Eastern games can learn from Western games, and Western games can learn from Eastern games? Now, when I'm saying that, I mean like games made out of Japan versus games that are made here. They obviously they make good games in both places, but there's obviously different things that people prioritize in the development of games here or there. So we all compiled or thought of some things, and we'll get into it. You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll go. A lot of Japanese games have way bigger scale when it comes to enemies, when it comes to really gnarly battle scenes and stuff like that. I'm going to use, I guess I can't use Final Fantasy 15 because you're not playing it.
Oh, yeah, no
it
spoilers.
would be
the
a
first
spoiler.
boss in Nier.
The first boss in Nier is 3 Goliaths. And so, fighting that, they're huge, and you're in your flight suits. And, so, yeah, they're just giant. They're fucking actual.
Look for those off-coast, like oil refinery type places as a
Oil
monster.
rig.
Yeah, as
oil
a
rig.
monster.
Yeah,
And
you're a human.
yeah, you're humans. You're fighting that for skill.
Yeah. In Bayonetta, just the last boss, you're in this globe, and the last boss of that game is completely unique because it plays like nothing else in the whole game. And you're in this huge glass globe, and the boss is in the middle, and you're actually looking from the bottom up. And so you're looking at Bayonetta's feet, and you have to dodge the attacks, coming from her. Then as soon as you fucking do your super move on her, you're actually punching her. Like, you have to control her as a bullet through the solar system into the sun. So, like, you have to dodge the planets and shit. And, it's stuff like that. Fucking Asura's Wrath. I think that was a Japanese game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Anyway,
Capcom.
Oh, yeah. You get punched into the moon, and then a guy takes his katana from Earth and jabs through you. That katana's millions of miles long. Like,
Goddamn Sephiroth.
it's stuff like that a lot of Eastern games don't really have. Like,
kind of ties into one of my topics that I'll get into in a little bit.
Same.
But that is something that you see. I mean, there's a couple things I can think of Western developers doing that are large in scale, but it's not in the same way because they take themselves very serious in a lot of the development here. When I think of large scale things in Western games, it's like the set pieces in a Call of Duty, the set pieces in an Uncharted game,
Halo.
and Halo.
The Halos themselves.
But they still are very grounded
Yeah.
because they want it to feel and be immersive. And then, I was actually surprised with Horizon Zero Dawn and the scale of a lot of the enemies and Meridian as a city was something I wasn't expecting from a Western game. I was expecting something you'd get out of Skyrim, which is just a fucking castle on a hill, which makes sense. But it's a very, very cool location. And I was like, just looking at like, wow, I got this AAA fucking budget fantasy city that's really fucking cool looking. But yeah, I completely agree that's something that I don't even necessarily think that Western games they need to do, but it'd be really fucking cool to see them do that because there's a lot of things that they do better in the way they make games, and the budgets are insane for games here. That it'd be really cool to see something that could take itself to that level and allow something that you can really look at and go, well, this is fucking insane. Because you pretty much only get that on Japanese games all the time. I mean, most of the time it's just like a big boss you fight here, but like in a Japanese game, like people are fucking stabbing people through the moon and shit. Like it's
Shadow of
crazy.
the Colossus. I mean, you're just fighting Colossi, and that was one of the very first little tastes I got of scale like that, where you're just like, holy shit.
Earth Defense Force. You can fucking summon a mech that's bigger than skyscrapers.
Yeah.
I mean, when I did that, I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
I don't even need to, like, I can't think of a reason I'd have to use this, but it's there.
Well, which is funny because one of the missions, you're actually just sitting there on foot, and there's fucking like 12 of those mechs fighting 12 Godzillas in this big empty field, and you have to fucking fight ants off the fucking like that sounds fucking wild. But it's 100% true. Like. So you're right. Yeah. Even the scale in Earth Defense Force is wild. There's tanks that are bigger than houses that Chevy blows the fuck out of us with.
I haven't once.
Takes the size of a fucking building.
There's motorcycles that don't drive.
Yeah.
That's
That's
not a scale
big
thing.
in scale, man. The idea of a motorcycle that you can't ride.
But everything in that game is fucking giant. Everything in Final Fantasy 15 has really large, gnarly
Huge.
battles.
Yeah. A lot of the summons are really neat looking.
Yes, the summons are giant. They're fucking.
So what games would you like to see outside of a new IP, of course, a Western game, doing something like that?
Oh, I would like to see in, let's say, like the new Elder Scrolls. I'd like to fight something that's like, not necessarily me running around it as it's trying to stomp on you or something like that, but even something like the Belial fight in Diablo, when he's huge, but there's that platform that's like at his waist, and you're running around it, and he's swinging at you and shit like that. Something like that, something fantasy-esque.
I have an idea of something I'd like to see in a Western game, and I would say it might fit in a game like an Elder Scrolls game, but I have no faith in Bethesda, so I wouldn't want them doing it. But I think it'd be cool to see something like what the hell's his name in Demigod, the walking, the Rook, which is essentially a huge walking fortress. Yeah. It'd be so cool to see like a moving like city or something
Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander. Japanese game.
Yeah. It'd be so cool to see something like that in a AAA game. I mean, you'd really be like, holy shit. And that, like, city, like, you can't just, like, well, you could probably fast travel to it, but, like, actually traveling to a city that's always going somewhere would be really fucking neat to see.
Well, that's actually really funny because Elder Scrolls, there was rumor that the next one's going to be in Valenwood, which is the Wood Elf home. And their cities are big, giant trees that wander.
Yeah, see, that'd be cool, but it's fucking Bethesda. I'm saying Bethesda. Bethesda. I'm gonna call them that because I don't take them serious anymore. The next game, you're just gonna be level 100 when you start, and you have everything.
Bethesda. But yeah, something like that, a huge creature fight in an Elder Scrolls game, or.
I'm gonna segue your thing into one of mine, which is not taking their games too serious.
Which is a different way of saying what I was going to say. I was going to say zaniness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is one of my things.
So with that, and I think this goes both ways though, because I have another topic too that I think Japanese games can learn from Western games, in the sense of like taking their games serious. I mean, I almost every Japanese game I play, they all have the archetypes. And they have characters that they're just supposed to assume they're this way. They don't really get into the deeper elements of them a lot of times. There's just all these very, very anime-esque archetypes. I mean, Persona 5 is full of them. A bunch of other games. But originally, what I was saying is, so Resident Evil 7 came out, and it's a survival horror game, and it does it really well, surprisingly. That game still has some fucking weird shit in it. Like a dude who rips the roof off of a fucking car. Spoiler alert! If you haven't gotten like an hour into Resident Evil 7, gets in the car, fucking grabs the wheel, makes you drive it into a fucking wall. Has the thing slam into his head. You think he's dead, and then you get out of the car. He comes up to you, grabs your gun, and fucking shoots himself in the head with your gun. And you're just like,
about
what?
to see something beautiful.
Yeah, and you're like, what is this Looney Tunes shit? Like, half the time, all the shit he says is ridiculous. So this game takes itself serious, but also has some really something I would never expect. That isn't a scenario I'd expect out of a Western game. It's fucking weird. I was just like, what the hell is this? What's going on? And stuff like that. Like, I mean, really, almost any Japanese game, even near in a lot of its ways, it creates a world that is so interesting because it does take itself serious, but also like you have all these like weird dorky robots that are hanging out. Like
The fucking sex talk one I thought was actually really funny. When you're it's a side mission where you're escorting a robot through the desert, and he's like how do humans make other humans? And then 9S is like 2B, you want to help me with this? And she's like, nope. and he's like, oh man, it's like for as serious as you can take that game, because that game actually does have a pretty serious-esque tone at times. That was actually like a really neat little bit of zaniness in there.
Well, I will say, I got a fucking... you get a transmission at one point where the lady's fucking crying.
Oh, because she got turned down.
Yeah, she tried to ask out one of the other gals, and she got turned down. She's like, I have no reason to live anymore. I was like, this is not relevant at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like 2B was like, well, I kind of need you because you're my operator, and if I don't have you, then something. And just being very, like, I need you because you're part of the mission. Yeah. Not because I like you. And then she took that as like a coming on.
Oh, you need me.
Yeah.
And not getting near too much. Also, like, a game like EDF wouldn't exist here.
Oh, fuck no.
It's so ridiculous, but it's all about the gameplay. And because they're not worried about, like, how can we really sell this idea that aliens made bugs huge and you have to fight them? Like, no one's going to go like, man, I'm really serious about this, so we got to save the world. Like, no, fucking it's an excuse to shoot a shitload of giant bugs in a completely destructible city, and it's fucking awesome.
But it's done in a way that's not like overly cheesy. Like, what was that?
Oh, it's pretty cheesy.
Alien game where you land on Earth and you're like shooting probes up people's butts to kill them.
That was Eastern game though. Destroy all humans.
Destroy all humans?
Yeah.
Western.
Was it Western? Was it Japanese?
Western is
America.
here. Eastern.
No, the Western Sun, baby. Oh, okay,
What
maybe
are
I'm
you-
wrong.
No,
I'm
you're
wrong.
completely wrong.
I'm thinking of how maps look now, not fucking where the United States is on the left side.
Right.
It's always referred to as the East.
Yeah, whatever. And
But I mean, yeah, at least it's not like cheesy like that. Like that was just so poorly done.
Yeah. Well,
it's that drawn to death shit.
Exactly. And I feel like back like around the 64 era, we were getting Western games that were having fun with themselves.
One, and that was actually one of the examples
And
I
it
was
kinda
going to
died
say
off.
is like from even earlier from the 64, though a lot of games are Japanese then, but even Western made games, they were just about having fun making a game.
Well, Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
Well, the example we brought up before, even though it probably is a Japanese game, but like Decap Attack is a fucking weird ass game.
Yep.
Semen.
You just don't,
I thought it was Hudson Soft. Or Hudson? The little bee?
I don't know. Which game?
Decap Attack.
Oh, might have been. I don't know.
But yeah, it's exactly it. I think Western games should not always try to be like Hollywood blockbusters. You know, they need to just be games sometimes,
So damn serious all the time.
and vice versa as well.
Which I appreciate though, because when they do it, they nail it, and they do it in a way that I've never seen a Japanese game do. I mean, like you don't get experiences like Uncharted in a Japanese game. They don't put that amount of effort into the cinematic aspect of it.
Fucking Western companies don't put that much effort in.
Yeah. Or like, a lot of people talk shit about Call of Duty, but like even the early Call of Duties that people did like, the amount of respect they paid to the scenario, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like those are real characters in a lot of these games, whereas in like a lot of Japanese games when I play them, I mean I can't think of a Japanese game where I feel like a character is a real person, like or could be. They always feel like archetypes, and I'm sure we have plenty of archetypes here, but still, like, just the amount of work put into, because they take them so serious, the writing and the mocap and the storytelling, stuff like that, is different.
I mean, even like Kojima, who makes really, high-end games, super fucking zany though.
Well, that was the thing I was going to bring up too when he's talking about Nier is like when you guys were talking about Nier is Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is a completely serious game series and my favorite series. Has a great storyline, all that shit. Completely serious. And when it's serious, I mean, I cried in Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 3. They're that good, but there's so many fucking random weird things that happen that are ridiculous.
Like if you're staring at the picture of the girl in the locker and you call Octagon calls you and you're just like breathe. Yeah, thank you. I don't play those games.
Pissy pants.
But you're just like he's like, Snake, what are you doing? And just Snake is breathing heavy as you're like staring at this picture of a girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird shit.
There's a sun gun in 4. that you hold up above your head to charge, and you fucking. There's a gun. There's a fucking musket that shoots tornadoes.
Yeah.
There's the fucking fucking
in 5, yeah. The hand of Jehuti.
yeah.
And he's like, it fucking just flies over and grabs you and pulls him to you. And Jehuti is from Son of the Enders. I mean, like, it's all those weird things. I mean, in Metal Gear Solid 1, you could like unlock a tuxedo, and like, which is homage to 007 and a bunch of weird shit. I mean, like the dogs pissing on you because they just like they do that. All of a sudden, they all love you.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. And it adds charm to it. And that's one thing that the anime does really well too, is like the whole serious character, goofy character mix up, and they do it in their games too really well.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas like you play a game like Horizon, which, as I've said, I fucking love that game, and the character is a really well fleshed out character that I believe in is really cool, but like she's always serious, which she needs to be in her situation, and always has some kind of remark to make, which I always think are really well written. But there's no, like, I never hear her say anything. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Or like, oh, dude, she's got a lighter sense of humor, too. Like, she's always very fucking...
That has a lot to do with the culture, too. In Japanese culture, they believe in those archetypes pretty strongly. So much so that they believe that your blood type dictates what type of person you will be. So I think that's part of, like, a lost in translation sort of societal miss there is what we're missing on. Which makes the characters seem very much like corny archetype characters, but that's literally how they used to, I can't speak for currently, but used to believe that people were. It's like you were fitting this type of characteristic traits and that's who you were.
Yeah, and just even in their storytelling, it's so ingrained in the culture anyway, regardless. Like, and we have archetypes too as well, like anyone with, 5 o'clock shadow who's, strong.
Bad dude with gratitude.
Fucking John Everyman. Which a lot of people have said, Nathan Drake is. I don't agree if you actually play the games. He's more of a rogue character than anything.
Yeah.
He's less of a Call of Duty strong dude. But yeah, I think both sides of that need to leak over to the other sides though, because like I said before, when I play a Japanese game, even if I like the characters, I think they're funny, blah blah blah, and they're charming. I'm never like and I can never really get behind those characters too well, except for the Metal Gear Solid, because Hideo Kojima is on another level. But
well, like you were talking about, you can't think of anybody who's like could be like a real person. And I was like, and my first thought is recently playing through Yakuza 0. I was like, there's one person in there that could be a real person, and then I was sitting here just thinking about it. I'm like, no.
When I played it,
not.
it was so every character. As soon as I saw them, I could tell who they were, what kind of characters, just because of all the Japanese movies I've watched, all the animes I've watched. Even like, for instance, translating over, like Resident Evil 7, bringing it up because it's one of the more recent non-RPGs I played out of Japan. Fucking, there's a part in the beginning of the game where you just find out your situation, you're trying to find a way out, and every character's dialogue, even though it fits its world, is so unrealistic. It's fucking insane. And I look past it because the game's fun. But like you walk over and there's this cop for some reason outside the window. He's like, hey, come here. And you're like, oh, okay. So you walk over there, and he's like, oh, we got a disturbance call, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, get me out of here. He's like, whoa, you don't look so good. Like, why would he say that? Like, you're a cop, and fucking this guy's like freaking out. Like, why are you like trying to deter him from talking?
Yeah.
Like, well, you're. And he's just like, your guy's like, look, do you wanna fucking save me? Then you need to help me out of here. And he's like, okay. He's like, meet me at the garage. That would never happen either.
Yeah.
Like, open that window. Break it
Yeah.
open. And it doesn't need to be like that because they would just stop it. That would end the game. But they could have wrote it in a different way that situation doesn't have to happen. And then, of course, you go to the garage and fucking... He's just too busy trying to talk to you while you guys trying to explain the situation. And it's just such a weird... The dialogue's so bizarre. And I'm like, there's nobody on Earth who talks like this. From both sides.
Right.
And, of course, Yeehaw Boy shows up, puts a shovel through his head, and starts saying all his Looney Tunes shit.
Then he drives a car around that fucking garage trying to
Which
kill you.
I enjoy in a B-movie way. So...
But yeah, going back to Yakuza, because it's actually a pretty serious story if you can get past. You're right, how fucking kind of zany it is. 'Cause, I mean, there's crazy shit that happens. You're in the sewers and fucking one of the bosses comes flying down on a motorcycle and cracks you with a fucking pipe, like, and then crashes, and then you got to fight him in the fucking sewer. So I mean, like, yeah,
We're running down the hallway, fighting through all these dudes, which was a cool scene. I like just going through these rooms, beating everyone's ass, because they're like, kill him, and fucking all of a sudden there's like 20 dudes in this room, and I'm just like throwing them into walls and shit, and you feel like a badass. But then you run down the hallway, all of a sudden there's just this big fat guy, and he has like a fucking chair or something over his head. He's just like, and you like run up, and he goes, and just like hits you with it.
It's
And it's like
Donkey Kong.
it's almost like a mini game.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
yeah, that really slows that part down. But yeah, even like, but then like the fight, you know, with the main boss in the dojo, that becomes like serious. Like it's like you're actually trying to actually beat this person down, and it's not like gimmicky or anything like that. And then the storyline after that gets serious. Like he has to take his fucking pinky, and he's pissed, which people would be. But yeah, so like even that part's more serious.
I thought I said Binky too. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? That didn't happen at all. I thought
You know,
beat
so like that, but like every mini game in that game is fucking insane. It's just zany. Most of the side quests are fucking zany. Most of the people you fight are fucking zany. The moves are crazy. Like, fucking suplexing a guy in half over a fucking bar. Like, you don't really see that kind of shit in fucking Western games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, can I segue to my next one? Or you got one, Chris?
Yeah, I got one.
Good.
I would like to see Western games take on the Eastern style of accurately representation of mythos creatures. And by that I mean, like, I'll compare Neo and Dark Souls. Neo has almost like perfect representations of what Japanese mythological monsters are. Whereas Dark Souls just kind of has a collection of just like, this thing's spooky looking, this thing's kind of creepy, let's just make random shit and throw it in there.
Those are both Japanese games, though.
Shut up.
Okay. Fair.
But you don't get a lot of that in Western games. You don't get a lot of like accurate representations. And I know that we don't have very deep lore with monsters and things like that, but there is lore there. And then when we do draw upon it, it's not very like well done. I think the closest thing I can think of recently, I can't verify if it's Eastern or Western game, but it's Until Dawn with the Wendigos.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
Western.
think, okay, so that's the closest I can think of in a good extended amount of time personally that had a good representation of what a mythos is and how it's based off of like the lore of it and how it looks and what it does and things like that. It's just, I don't see that a lot in Western
I think
games.
it's a weird example, but God of War represents its
European.
stuff pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
I think you're onto something on that. Just because, just like how culturally a lot of movies here come out, it's like based on a true story, but it's like based off like one element of it, and that's fine because I don't care about that. I hear people like, they're supposed to be based on a true story. None of them are. Like they're all loosely based, and it's a tell fucking story. But I think because of that culturally, if there is any kind of mythos used in a Western game, that they are going to use it lightly, whereas maybe culturally in Japanese games, if they're deciding to base anything off of that, maybe they're deciding to dive in deeper to that. Maybe there's more, maybe they care about that in their development more than we do. And maybe it's more of a, here we loosely base, like, that's a cool idea, we'll use some of that. Whereas they're, Final Fantasy, all the fucking summons are based off of mythology and shit. So different places, Scandinavia and stuff like that. So that is something I feel like it's just more abundant mostly in Japanese games. But it would be really interesting. I mean, the only game I can really think of is God of War. That really does a whole lot of diving into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know much about Polish lore, though, or anything like that. But it's all Eastern European stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, they dive into just a lot of just European stuff.
Witches, sweet babies. I don't know shit about that.
There's a lot of Native American lore and mythos creatures that they don't ever touch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
Well, Native American stuff isn't even touched very much in general anyway. I mean, like, Prey was kind of interesting in the sense that the main character was a Native American dude, but it didn't really matter. It was all the basic mysticism you'd expect from a Native American in anything here, which is always boring to me because they don't actually care about, what tribe and what beliefs. It's just the idea of the mystic Native American.
Which is what Killer Instinct surprisingly did amazingly well with Thunder.
Nighthawk. Oh, Thunder.
They actually went to the tribe that he was supposed to be from and asked them what he should look like.
Thunder, who's that?
The Native American guy with the tomahawks. I can't remember his real name. I think it's Thunder.
I'm thinking
What?
Nighthawk from Mortal Kombat.
You're thinking Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you're thinking
It's
of Night
generic.
Wolf.
Yeah, Nightwolf.
It's from Killer Instinct.
Oh,
He's
Killer
the-
Instinct, okay.
Yeah, the Native American guy. He's actually like supposedly they went to the tribe and asked them what he should look like and tried to depict him as thus.
That's interesting.
That's actually kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, it shows they're going for accuracy and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I agree with you on is essentially, I think they just do it more with the mythology, and I almost would like to see more games come out. There's less fantastical games here. There might technically be more, but the ones that are popular, there's not a whole lot of them.
Team Ninja's actually working on a game called Sauna's Sacrifice or something like that, and it's actually dealing with like Scottish lore and how you're trying to fight being psychotic throughout the whole game. Like you hear your voices, and she holds the head of her lover on her hip, and it'll like exhale and shit like that occasionally. It sounds really, really fucking neat. But yeah, it's Team Ninja, and they're tackling Scottish lore, which I thought was a little weird. Not weird as in bad, but like that's kind of different.
Yeah.
No other Western game that did it, and I think they did it pretty well, even though it's a hodgepodge of Greek and Roman mythology, which Roman mythology is just Greek mythology anyway. But Titan Quest.
I was just gonna say that.
Titan Quest, and this is the reason why I think that is a welcome thing that people should explore more in the West when it comes to development games, because Titan Quest is awesome. It was refreshing. It was different. A lot of the monsters, you fight Medusa and all that shit. Like, it was neat. Yeah.
Harpies and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, all the enemy types weren't stuff you're expecting. I mean, there's skeletons, but the skeletons and everything.
Well, and it's the same enemy types, like I said in God of War 2. I mean, except for obviously it's a little different because you're ripping wings off of harpies instead of just killing them.
Ripping dudes' heads off with your fingers and the fucking necks ripping apart. That shit's gnarly.
Yeah, those titties.
Kind of a segue from what you said and what you said. More of an open discussion about storytelling. I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I think Western games display and show storylines better. Just because the amount of work they put into cinematics and set pieces. Yeah. Set pieces are huge. And I don't really see the same, even 50% of the same fucking level of detail that you get out of a Western game and Japanese games. But one thing I love about Japanese games is the amount of time they don't give a fuck about investing in a storyline. Yakuza, I fucking played that game, and it was a movie for like 2 hours. I was watching a fucking movie, and I don't care about that. I know Metal Gear Solid, people bitched forever, and then they made 5, which 5 plays great, but where the fuck are the cinematics? I loved that aspect of the Metal Gear Solid series. Yakuza, bunch of cinematics, makes the characters, even though, like I said earlier, they don't feel like real people, but in their world, I was getting to know who they were and stuff like that. It is really, really cool. I love that shit. I wish people weren't so opposed to spending the time just investing and sitting back and watching your characters. I mean, in Western games, it's all about trying to tell you that as you play, the same as like we integrate tutorials into the gameplay now, stuff like that. It's just to get you in and go because people want to fucking just play a game because they're impatient. But I feel like that's something that I really love about Japanese games is they will a lot of times just spend time on making the storyline unfold and take as much time as they want. Whereas Western games, the fucking the budget and the scale of being able to portray that in a visual style is beyond.
That was mine. My last one was being able to fucking just slow down and explain the story. You know, have a story for a little bit. I mean, because like you said, fucking Yakuza is straight up Metal Gear Solid 4 with those cutscenes, man. They're all over the fucking place, and I was never like, ugh. I was always like, all right, you know, cutscene. You get to just understand more of what's going on.
One thing I do appreciate in games that aren't afraid of doing that, though, and actually Horizon Zero Dawn does it good and bad, but a lot of games, specifically, I guess, like Final Fantasy 15 was a good example. Right before you were getting ready to watch a bunch of cutscenes, like, hey, you're not going to be able to do anything for a while. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, thank you. Because I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I had to go to fucking school or work or something like that. I can't remember what year it was anymore, and I was like watching the cutscene, like, come on, I have to leave, and that could have been avoided had I known it was coming up. So, but I do agree. I would like to see, you know, Japanese games like draw out and tell a less. One thing that Japanese games are really bad about is their stories are always. It seems like. What word am I looking for? Convoluted. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Even
a lot of
Yakuza
it
5.
is you figuring it out because they're not telling it very smoothly.
Persona 5.
Well,
Yakuza 5.
almost every Final
What's you-
Fantasy.
what
I mean,
You said Yakuza 5.
I know. What's the Yakuza? Is that 0?
Yeah, Yakuza
Yeah.
0.
0.
Just
And Persona 5,
most,
both of them.
you know, games. Even like Final Fantasy 7, which I love, a lot of the story you have to kind of like, you know, piece together.
Metal Gear
because
Solid.
It's not told to you just very directly. As for Western games, are very much like this is the story. I mean, you play Last of Us and you're literally playing through an entire story, and,
Oh, yeah.
and you're not lost ever. The whole time.
I kind of enjoy that aspect though about Japanese games not getting like every little detail of the story, because when I play a game and then I talk to my friends about the game, we can compare and contrast what we found out, what we figured out, and I can read online forums about it, which I really enjoy. There's something about that like sleuthing into like in 7, for example, you can go to Zach's home village and figure out like tiny little details that you didn't realize were in the game and in the storyline, which I really enjoy that kind of stuff. It's rewarding.
Yeah, I like both. That's why I brought it up as this, because I think they both have strengths and weaknesses to them. Because, I mean, that's the difference, though, is like the information you're getting and the reward of getting it, I get that. But also, like, outside of Metal Gear Solid, when I watch a movie and there's like a scene that's super impactful, like Road to Perdition, the part where Tom Hanks kills his father figure in the rain. It's an amazing scene. It's beautifully shot. You don't get stuff like that in a lot of Japanese games. You get them in Western games. You get stuff like that in Last of Us. Really amazing,
right at the
impactful
beginning.
scenes. Yeah. And that's something I would love to see in more Japanese games. Because like I said, Metal Gear Solid does it better than almost everybody outside of Naughty Dog. But again, like, because Japanese games are willing to take the time and invest time in showing off stuff that sometimes is super convoluted, which I think is overcomplicating the storyline needlessly. A lot of Western games, you're piecing together shit through notes you find, and I don't really like that.
Oh, you know who does it really bad is fucking Destiny.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no story unless you go to their fucking website.
Oh, Destiny's fucking awful at storytelling. What
Yeah.
gives a shit about the story?
Because they're pussies about fucking a story leak.
Oh yeah.
They had to fucking they just scrapped the whole thing and started over pretty much, and just
I don't
didn't
know
have
if
enough
that affected
time.
it like a lot, because that kind of explained a lot of things.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any more? I know you said that was your last one.
No,
Okay. Well, one thing Eastern games do that I really like is their gameplay systems. Now, this kind of goes back into them not taking themselves that serious. And again, for you guys mostly, it sounds like you guys are saying a lot more about Japanese over to Western. But and like I said, both got their strengths. But one thing that is very very common here is a lot of games play the same, which is fine because there's a standard. You can pick up a game and play, and you know what the fuck's going on. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like Assassin's Creed, you're running around doing side missions, going up high and looking around, and then fast traveling and just doing that. And then you play like Far Cry, another Ubisoft game. You do the exact same shit in a different format. All FPSs, you're shooting people, blah 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 blah. But then like you play a game like I'm gonna say Resident Evil 7 again because it's a game I played recently. It's a first-person survival horror game. Unlike a lot of games that exist, Nier's gameplay is not like many games. I mean, it's constantly changing, and it's because they're emphasizing the gameplay of the game. I mean, most Nintendo games, I'm not trying to give them too much credit because I think they kind of run on their same formula over and over and over again. But they're more about the gameplay than they are about like the story. Like it's not really about like who Mario is and where he's going. It's
who is Mario?
It's just like jumping around, having fun.
What kind of crazy shit can I put on him to do different stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Or EDF, like fucking the game is fun because all the weird fucking mechanics and all the different things you can do and use.
Speaking of that, I'm so brainwashed with a left stick being sprint. It took me so fucking long in Nier to get it together that fucking
right trigger.
Yeah, that the right trigger was fucking
still
sprint.
Down the stick.
That's weird.
Well, yeah. Well, it's you just have to click it because it's like your evade, and then she sprints after that. So yeah, like I was hitting the fucking stick so fucking long, and my pod's like boom because it turns on the flashlight. Yeah. I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. My flashlight's always on and off. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, every time I go into like a dark area, I'm like, oh, my flashlight's on. So I never noticed it until because you're in the overworld. One thing I thought was really neat about that game is they explained the lack of day-night cycles. They mentioned somewhere in some weird note that fucking.
Not that I saw.
I guess day is perpetual. It's been perpetual for like 1,000 years or something like that. Because it's like 130,000 in that fucking game. That's the year. Because the machine, no one gives a fuck.
Back on the Nier talk.
Yeah. Anyway, fun little tidbit, but yeah, how it goes from twin stick shooter to side scroller to back to twin stick, back to fucking open, normal
like action game, yeah.
To that hacking mini game that happens in that boss fight. There's always different.
Yeah,
always something new.
Well, like Final Fantasy 15 also, I think has a really unique gameplay system that I wouldn't expect from really anywhere. It merges Western and Eastern gameplay in a way that feels almost like an old school RPG, but also feels like a brand new RPG in a way that doesn't feel like our action RPGs, which are just, a first-person shooter with leveling.
No, I quite like 15s. I do have a couple gripes, but as their first attempt at doing something like that, I'm sure they've gotten a lot of feedback at this point, and even seeing the screenshots they've shown for 7, it looks like a lot of the gripes I have are being fixed anyways. So,
and games like Monster Hunter and Tokaiden 2, all about the gameplay. They're not about the story, and the gameplay is individual. Dynasty Warriors, absolutely about the gameplay. I mean, the storyline's kind of interesting, but yeah.
The same story for
ever.
It's just the romance of the 3 kingdoms. Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing more to it.
But yeah, and I think it helps them and hurts them because when I think of those games, I'm super passionate about them because there's no games like them. But at the same time, in the West, they make games that people are going to get and understand and play, and they're going to be fun, they're going to work. I mean, they're selling you McDonald's, and you're going to eat it. which is good and bad, but kind of makes every game kind of feel gray after a while, unless you get those, Last of Us games and shit like that. But yeah, a lot of Japanese games, they just emphasize gameplay so much and get creative with it still. And like I said, sometimes their games don't sell that well, or they're unknown or unheard of because they're not just following the formula that is going to sell the game for sure.
Yeah.
So that's one thing about them. And then my last one, unless someone had something to add to that.
No, but I do have a one that I just thought of.
Okay.
I would like to see Eastern game companies export their games better, the way like Western, like when Western companies release games, it's the whole world gets it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we get like 30% of the Japanese games.
Oh, yeah.
And I really...
Well, they have a defeatist mentality on it too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't sell very well here because the advertising's not there or blah, 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 blah. Yakuza's been a struggle from what I've read for that company. And yeah, it sucks because a lot of those developers get to the point where they're like, well, maybe our game's not for the West. Maybe it's just for us.
Yeah.
And that sucks because like I'm sitting here going like, well, I'd like to fucking play that game. I mean, there's a Cowboy Bebop. There's 2 Cowboy Bebop games that existed. One was shit.
One was awful.
But the other one looked kind of cool. And I'm like, that sucks. I never even fucking had a chance to play that.
Well, it's easier now than it ever was. They literally can... They don't
Digital.
they can just do it digitally. They don't have to really try at that point. They just have to put it on a platform that isn't costing them money to print copies of it, and they might sell some additional copies to people. And
Keep it in Japanese. Put subtitles.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do all the work of redoing, lip syncing and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know how much I would love to have the other 2 Mana games come to America?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, it's like everyone talked about, what was that, another 3 or whatever,
Mhm.
people wanted for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
One thing I was thinking about is how out of touch is kind of a weird word, but like sometimes Japanese developers make really fucking weird decisions about tried and true games that no one even asked for, but for some reason they just decided to do it.
Oh, yeah.
An example, Guile not being in the original roster of Street Fighter 6. Why? What the fuck is your problem?
Or not making Mega Man.
Yeah, or it's just little decisions like that. Like it doesn't seem like they have their finger on the pulse of what.
They're absolutely
fans want.
outdated on a lot of
They're
things.
disconnected.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
like, and I'd like to see a little more connection because Eastern or Western developers, they're all about it.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking huge example is Project Red. If there's anything wrong with it, like they created a whole new like movement system because people didn't like how Geralt moved.
Yep.
Fucking originally, so I mean.
Battlefront 2 is addressing everything people didn't like about Battlefront.
Yeah, and like it to me though is Street Fighter 4 and 5. Fuck, they're the exact same game. Like what the fuck? So I'd like
That's
to see
also something that fucking I'd like to see them take after Western developers is if you're gonna make a new game, make a new game.
Yeah.
Don't just re-release the same fucking game 8 times and add an X and a fucking Love is Friendship fucking part 2-9.
Fucking
And they add
Guilty
Guilty
Gear.
Gear.
Yeah,
and
Guilty
they
Gear
add like a
Third
new
Revelator.
character.
But like
Extreme cross.
Soul Calibur, they butchered it. They were thinking about making that free to play
Completely out of touch.
fucking horse shit. Yeah. So I mean, like stuff like that. Like fuck, get it together, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it just doesn't fit like their culture. Maybe their culture is wanting something a little more different, or
they also don't. They don't have this isn't necessarily related to like the Guile instance, but like they don't spend the budget we do either on games. So,
Yeah, but also for a while there, now we're getting a lot more games out of there. But for a while there, they're really struggling with Western audiences. So I think a lot of their games they were gambling with. And I think they hurt a lot of them because Soul Calibur is my favorite fighting series. I didn't like 5 that much, and they changed it. And I didn't want them to, which that's just me. But like they made like a fucking free to play one after that. DOA is dead.
Yeah.
They made a fucking free to play one of that. I just wanted DOA. Keep it the fucking same. Stop worrying about all the beach volleyball shit. which there's a certain demographic for. But like that was a good fucking fighting game. It was really good, and they fucking killed it. Same thing with Soul Calibur. Like there's so many series that they're doing fine with. They're doing fine, and then there's like, we want to sell this more. Let's fucking change it completely.
Yeah.
Now, nobody is going to buy it who never heard of it before, because it's still a game that they don't give a fuck about the brand. And the people who did like it feel alienated, so they don't want to fucking get it. Now we're going to stop making it. It is a completely, like, their finger's not on the fucking pulse.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest flaws with Japanese gaming that I really, really know.
Definitely.
And it's been super refreshing, especially this last, I guess holiday season would be a good way to put that, with the amount of just really good Japanese games that we've actually got.
Pretty much all I've bought this year so far.
It's pretty crazy. I was looking through my games and I was just like, wow, this is pretty fucking nuts how many
That's
Japanese
awesome.
games I have right now.
Poise in Dark Souls 3, they completely changed it from Dark Souls 1 and 2. Because used to the heavier armor you had on and how high your poise was pretty much like a direct like correlation on if you're staggered or not when you're fucking hit. And in 3, completely different. Fucking everyone's like, dude, what's up with poise? And the creator of it was like, oh, poise is working. And they're like, how? What the fuck? Like, so, and that's just another fucking example of them just like, stop keeping us in the fucking dark here. Like,
Yeah.
like it's literally been the same for Dark Souls 1 and 2. There's nothing fucking wrong with it. It was a stat that you wanted to raise for a certain reason, or not. It didn't matter. And it was up to you. But now it's just in this weird wonky fucking fun land that no one knows how it's used, and it's just
Wonky fucking
there.
fun land.
I want to go there.
Yeah, where's that at? I have one more.
Okay.
If everyone's... and this is one that Eastern needs to take from Western, which is engine development, graphics, and gameplay. Now I said gameplay earlier for Eastern, like the playing of it, but like the amount of work that goes into the engines and the graphics, and obviously everybody always wants to argue instantly, it's not about the graphics, bro. Yeah, I agree. Like, the game has to be fucking fun.
To a degree, it is.
It has to be fucking fun. But I still appreciate a fun-ass game that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn is a great example of that. It's a fun fucking game with a lot of really cool ideas, a great storyline, and it's gorgeous as fuck. I mean, like I said, you don't need that. But this is one thing I'm really excited for Hideo Kojima making Death Stranding right now, is he's a Japanese developer, but there's a lot of Western influence and a Western engine in this game. I'm really curious on what's going to happen with that.
Right.
Because with the amount of detail Kojima puts in his games and the gameplay ideas, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 played awesome. Still looked a little stiff, because most Japanese games always look stiff to me.
Yeah.
They don't put the amount of detail and work into, like, the motions of, like, characters. I mean, you play, like, Battlefield 1, and it's immersive as shit, because the way people move and interact with everything. And it's just immersion. Immersion's really important to me, because it makes me kind of forget I'm just like playing like a fucking some interactive thing. I don't know. I don't get why it's like that, but I can't think of any Japanese games that have the same amount of realism. Not like in the way it's made. I know earlier I talked about not taking themselves serious or whatever, but
I honestly think it comes down to what I said earlier about budget. They don't spend that kind of money we do on games. So I'm sure developers over there would love to make games of that caliber, but they don't have the finances to do so.
when all the big companies, like, they're making like one game a piece. Capcom makes Street Fighter, and
Well, after watching the fucking
Yeah,
shit
the rest
show
of
that
the board.
Konami was, you can kind of get a look at how Japanese companies think about investing in things too. Because for every time Metal Gear was coming out, you'd always hear stories about Konami telling Hideo to fucking like wrap it up.
yeah, but
wrap
his
it up.
games take forever to develop, and the longer it's developing for, the more money they're sinking into
Yeah.
it. So
Well, and I'm just using that as the example.
yeah,
I remember when games started costing millions to make, and now they cost fucking tons of millions.
Destiny was what, 500 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was expensive.
That included advertising costs, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is part of making a game. So yeah, they made it back, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they nickel and dime.
I mean,
fuck out
that's-
everybody.
You see very few instances of companies like taking huge financial risks. The only really big example I can think of is when Square scrapped Final Fantasy XIV, rebuilt it, and re-released it. That could have bankrupted them.
Well, I read a thing that said if it failed the second time, their company would have went under.
Yeah.
Just because it was 2 development cycles at that point.
Yeah.
So, and plus server maintenance that they weren't getting paid for because to keep people playing, they weren't charging people. So that's pretty crazy. And then they spent a shit ton of money on Final Fantasy 15 as well because it went over, was it a 10-year development cycle or something like that? So
Yeah, because it was part of the
it
Final
was
Fantasy
supposed to be
13.
versus
Yeah.
13 originally. So,
PS3.
but you
Yeah.
don't see a lot of other Japanese companies even take those kind of risks.
No.
So, as for here, we spend. I mean, it's a lot more of a well-oiled machine too. I mean, look at Activision. 3 companies, constantly making Call of Duty. You get one every year, and they're spending a shit ton of money on making.
Well, that's the business-minded aspect of it too, because obviously, like I said earlier, we make a lot of games that are similar to each other because we know they're going to sell. But also, EA is using one engine, so all their games are
Versatile engine, yes.
on an engine that's always being upgraded and bettered.
Yeah.
It seems like most Japanese games are coming out on their own engines.
Yep.
So they probably,
Less now, but
yeah. But a lot of them are coming out on just like Unreal and stuff,
Unreal
which
and
is
shit.
smart. But yeah, I just never see the immersion and the flow of characters like that. I mean, I'm impressed by the way things move in Nier, 'cause it's stylistic or whatever, but still always going to move that way.
Yeah.
Whereas in a game from the West, wherever, their foot placement on certain things and their knee movement and their hand on a wall if they're standing near it, those small things, even though that's not gameplay, I'm still impressed by that. Because it doesn't need to be there. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. But when I see that, I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking really impressive.
I remember even when you were playing Metro and
I was actually going to bring up Metro, that's funny.
you come close to a wall and grab, put his hand and actually grab and pull and stuff, and you don't see that. You don't even see that kind of deal in a lot of Western games either.
Well,
but-
a game like Metro really crafts a world in a way that it just works. You want to see more and more and more of it just because of how much work they put into it.
right.
But yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Anything else? No? All right, let us know in the comments. Did we generalize too much? These guys don't do that. These guys don't do this. Give us examples of any counters to that. Let us know some things you'd like to see. The East and the West take from each other. Like I said, Hideo Kojima, I'm really, really curious to see what he does because it almost seems like the perfect fucking storm.
He has that Sony budget too.
Yep. And he's using Guerrilla Games' fucking engine, which is
The
awesome.
Horizon Zero Dawn engine.
Yep.
Ooh, that'll be dope.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 28. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr and Twitter, Tasty Gaming. Check me out on this channel. I'm streaming again. And if you missed those, they're uploaded, so you can watch them. Check Chris out on Twitch, Tasty_fruit.
Tasty Loot, Josh.
And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Chris.
And until the next episode, which will be next Tuesday, Taste Tuesday, have a good weekend, guys, and take it easy.